interesting thing about, I feel like, being a software engineer in the last 25, 30 years is you also got to see the rise of interoperability opportunity. Because the reality is, when you were getting started, most systems were closed. When they started opening up, did you foresee what was going to happen? Or I guess, when did you really say, like, okay, the more things that we can connect, best of breed services, like this is going to be the future? Was it like when the rise of cloud, was it the rise of APIs? Were there any like hints for you? Like, you're like, wow, this is going to fundamentally change everything.
There was a particular project that stands out for me, and I went to work for an insurance company, and everybody else was doing Y2K work. And I was working on creating an e-commerce solution for general insurance. So general insurance is car and house insurance. And at the time, they had a policy solution, the ability to quote sat on mainframe codes in a mainframe system with green screen, pulling all the data off the green screens. And they were pushing it through some Microsoft Power tool to drive a call center solution. So that in itself is quite clever for the time, right? Not wildly anymore, but actually, if you think about where we were at the time, it was quite exciting. And we were asked to create an e-commerce solution. At the time, you couldn't do an awful lot because it was when you could first really put transactions through browsers. And we ended up using a beta version of IBM Component Broker to plug mainframe. We were using an adaptation of what had been built in VB for the call center. I was using the IBM Component Broker to manipulate it all. We were having to write these wrappers between Java and C++ because it was the only way you could get everything to talk to each other. We went to do a demo of the prototype to the client. And my boss at the time, he said, well, you've got to come because it's your work. And I went, no, I'm not coming because I don't think it's going to work. And then real time, I can fix it, right? And it's really funny, Albert, because that was the point when we had delivered that and it had gone live and you could not just do quotes, but you could do sales and write it back to the mainframe. I was like, actually, this is kind of amazing. And this is where it changes. And that was pre-cloud because that was it was at the time of Y2K. And that was the moment when I thought there's something really interesting cooking up here. And obviously it's taken a long time to get because you have to have that open API and that was all closed. It was all closed within the systems of that particular client. But you think about that today, and it's pretty amazing where we came from to where we are today.
This episode of IT Visionaries is brought to you by Salesforce. With Salesforce's low-code app dev tools, you can be more efficient, more productive, and save money by reducing development time by up to 90%. Get Salesforce's low-code playbook and increase time to value for your team and your customers. Visit salesforce.com/ITV today.